I'm Jessica from Jessica Wanders, and this is my final harvest and tally for my 2024 garden season, where I see how much I can grow in my backyard garden. I keep track of everything. I try to keep track of everything, record it all, and then see how much food I grow over the season. As always, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to see more videos from me, and check out the join button for other ways to support my channel. If you're new here, I'll leave a link in the top corner up there to the entire 2024 How Much Food Can I Grow playlist if you want to watch the other episodes that I did. This year was very fraught with disturbances. We did have some long trips that we went on, but we did start out the year pretty good with loads of greens coming out of the garden. Our lettuce did really well. The radishes did really well. The spinach at the beginning of the year did really well. We did have an early spring trip and then a full August trip, and we had so much house construction going on this year from May all the way through the year into October that did sort of disturb the filming. I had bok choy radishes. The spring was very good. Everything was looking very green. And then some weather hit. We had a lot of rain. A lot of seeds rotted. The cucumbers didn't start. It was kind of an up and down start. I did harvest a ton of strawberries, but a lot less than we normally would have harvested. I did freeze a bunch. I was just cleaning up my freezer. That was not the freezer that melted. The cherry tomatoes did okay. There was a good start. Look how red they turned out in the end. It did start really, really raining. This rain is killing me. Oh, look, there's a rain. So much rain. I know, hello, look at the rain. Look at the rain. Oh, this is rain. So much rain all the time. It's just, ugh. Anybody else get really tired when the barometric pressure drops? That's me. It really was an unusually wet spring. I ended up planting the corn seeds twice. The first time they didn't take, and the second time they were really, really stunted. We did not have a corn harvest this year. Because of the house construction, I missed some of the harvests. But here's some pictures of our green cabbage. Our wonderful red cabbages did really well. I also didn't get any pictures of the green onions or the harvest, but we harvested 24 pounds of green cabbage, 23 pounds of red cabbage, and about 10 pounds of green onions. The odd thing, cherry tomato or pepper, I was just grabbing out of the garden and using in cooking. I wasn't filming the harvest of it. Some green peppers. Some nice green peppers. 11.7 ounces. Couple of onions. 10.6 ounces. I am back from my vacation and the apples are starting to fall from the tree. They're all over the ground, so we picked some up. I haven't washed them yet, but I'm going to weigh them, wash them, do something with them. I zeroed this bowl. I mean, most of them are very, very small. There's the odd one that's not a bad size. Some of them are so small. Carrot apple raisin salad is what I'm going to make today. I'm going to make some apple things, but we'll weigh them up to see how many pounds we're getting. This is the only fruit tree that did anything at all this year. That's not all the apples. That's just what I brought in just now to deal with. Exactly 6 pounds of apples. There will definitely be more. There's definitely more out there. 6 pounds. Some more carrots out of the garden. 5 pounds, 1 ounce of carrots. Things are so haphazard with the house renovations and vacationing. It's just so crazy this year. We have harvested these red potatoes, but I haven't finished weighing them up. But I need these for a recipe. Oh, I'll cut that green off there. I gotta record these ones before I use them up, before I cook them up, as 2 pounds, 6 ounces of red potatoes. 2 pounds, 6 ounces. The onions that I planted, remember the little seedling starts of onions that I bought, didn't do too well this year. We've got some white onions and some, they were Walla Wallas and white onions that I planted. They didn't do very well, and this is all we got. Actually, we've picked a few of them, but this is the last of them. 5 pounds, 10 ounces. We'll call it 8 ounces because it has some dirt still. I don't want to rub it because they're not quite dry. We'll call it 5 pounds, 8 ounces. Here we have pulled some out already. Actually, quite a few. So the last of them, 5 pounds, 8 ounces. All right, it is the end of the cherry tomato season, and I have a variety. There's actually still some on there. We might get another haul. I'm gonna make a big Greek salad. I've got some green peppers as well, and I'm gonna leave some of these in the fridge to use for later, and most of them, these ones, I'm gonna freeze just as they are. Wash them up and then freeze them, and I can throw them in things throughout the year. I did zero this bowl, which is the same bowl as these bowls. So let's see. 3 pounds, 3 pounds, 7 ounces. We're just gonna call them all cherry tomatoes. I'm not gonna call them different names. I always pick a variety of cherry tomatoes every year. 3 pounds, 7 ounces. And then the same thing with these ones. You just don't want to put too many in a bowl or they start to squish the ones at the bottom. I love these little yellow pear-shaped ones. They're so fun. 2 pounds, 9 ounces. I did zero that, and then I had a couple of green peppers that I picked just for some Greek salad. I can use those onions that I picked the other day, those white onions. I've got 10 ounces of green peppers. I'm using a few more potatoes. I haven't gotten around to weighing them all up. I'm just kind of weighing them as I'm using them. That's 1 pound, 3 ounces. We are harvesting what is good to go out of the garden. Whoa, this is a ginormous green pepper. This is another ginormous green pepper. So I'm gonna weigh these up, the last of the green peppers out of the garden. There we go. 4 pounds, 13 ounces. Picked just a couple of carrots for dinner tonight. It's crazy, these carrots are huge. Huge carrots. These are Nantes Corliss, I think. Zeroed that. These are just so huge. The huge carrots. Just let them grow forever. Get really behind in your gardening and you'll end up with ginormous carrots. Nom. 4 pounds, 14 ounces of ginormous carrots. We're finally picking the last of everything, and this is the last of the cherry tomatoes out in the garden. There's some red ones, and then those yellow pear ones that I like are in there too. These ones are very cool. They're super yummy, and they add color to your salads, which is fun. Look at these cool pear-shaped ones. So weigh them up. It's quite a bit, actually. It's 5 pounds, 4 ounces of cherry tomatoes. I have a couple of awesome cantaloupe from the garden. Actually, I'll weigh the smaller ones too. Okay, these are all the cantaloupe that we grew. These ones are quite ripe. Like, I'm gonna have it for breakfast, and then we'll weigh up those ones. They might ripen up a little bit more. Okay, I'm gonna zero this. First cantaloupe, 2 pounds, 12 ounces. Oh, come on. 2 pounds, 14 ounces. Then these less ripe ones, they might ripen up. 2 pounds, 10 ounces together. actually flipped a page to cantaloupe. 2 pounds, 10 ounces. 2, 4, 6 pounds, 6, 7, maybe 8 pounds of cantaloupe this year. Not bad. Picking the last of the raspberries. 6.9, called 7 ounces. I tried planting all of my squash plants at the base of my dead cherry tree, hoping that they would climb up the tree and then the squashes would hang down. It did climb up the tree. They didn't get as high as I would have liked. We were away. I think I could have got them higher if I was home. I did plant some beans at the bottom too, hoping that they would grow up, but they kind of got overshadowed and didn't end up growing up the tree like some big pole beans. I would definitely try this experiment again. It kind of worked, and I think that if I'd been home to look after it, it would have worked better. But it did look pretty cool, all the squash growing on our dead cherry tree. So that's okay. We did get a bunch of squashes. They didn't hang down the way that I wanted them to, but I think it was a win. I had hoped for slightly more, but these are all the winter squashes that I managed to grow this year. It was a weird start to the year. They didn't grow very well in the beginning. I actually tried to plant them from some seeds that I had and they didn't grow. I thought it was maybe the seeds. I ended up getting some starter plants from Art Nap, like a gardening store here. And I think I did plant some plants and then some more seeds, like I planted them twice. But I did get some. Look at this very cute pumpkin. I love it. It's so cute. And then this pumpkin and this pumpkin will definitely orange up. This is the biggest Hubbard. What a tiny Hubbard, actually, compared to some other Hubbards I've grown in the past. These are, I guess, acorns, and I hope that they kind of orange up as well. They look like they're starting to turn. This is the only like butternut, I guess that is, but I think it's the first one I've ever grown. They usually require such a long season that I don't always get them. There's another Hubbard. And then these are butternut or something like that. Butternut, I think. That's another Hubbard, but these are all butternuts. Like the tiny little butternuts. Butternuts. Spaghetti squash. I think this is possibly a hybrid type spaghetti squash. I don't know what else that could be. I thought maybe it was a zucchini, but I didn't plant any zucchinis in there, so I'm not sure what this is. I'll let these cure and I store them in the basement, in the pantry. I'm gonna weigh them up all under kind of winter squash. Not bad. It's not a bad little haul of winter squashes from the garden this year. 3 pounds, 8 ounces. Pumpkin. 1 pound, 4 ounces. Pumpkin. 1 pound, 10 ounces. Hubbards. 1 pound, 14 ounces. Oh, it's a little baby squash. And 11 ounces. Find your balance, Hubbard. 4 pounds, 6 ounces. And the biggest one, 5 pounds, 7 ounces. Acorns. Acorn squash. Exactly 3 pounds. Other acorn squash. 2 pounds, 11 ounces. Buttercup, I think these were called. They didn't get quite as big as I've had them in other years, but let's weigh them up and see how they did. Look at this tiny little, I don't even know what I'll do with that. Throw it in with one of the other ones, I guess. They're all orange squash. Ones were 1 pound, 12 ounces. I got some other ones here. We'll just call it 2 pounds. 2 pounds. 1 butternut. Butternut. Don't fall down. 3 pounds, 10 ounces. And then whatever these are, I'm pretty sure this is a spaghetti squash. And I don't know what this is. So looks like some kind of hybrid zucchini squash thing. I don't know. But this one is, we'll call it exactly 2 pounds. And this one is 2 pounds, 8 ounces. The garden is almost put away, and I see that there's some fresh cilantro. It must have seeded and then sprouted like a new plant. It's pretty big, so I thought I'd harvest some cilantro. Maybe half of what's out there, actually. It's not a lot. It's 0.2 ounces. We haven't taken much of the cilantro, but I do have some coriander, the seeds, to process still. Well, there were a few of these long English cucumbers hiding in the cucumber bed that I didn't even know that I had. So let's weigh these up. Oh, was it zeroed? No, not at all. Not even a little bit zeroed. Please stay. Please stay, please stay. Can we do 2? Yes, maybe. No. Yes. 3 pounds, 2 ounces. £1 pound, 12 ounces. These are the patty pans that came out of the garden. I'm gonna weigh it up. Zero that. These ones aren't a bad size. This one got away from us because we were away, but I'll probably chop it up. But these ones you could make like a stuffed patty pans or something like that. They're so cute. Cute little patty pans. Cool. 1 pound, 9 ounces. Obviously, I did harvest some earlier on in the season, but this is the last of them. 2 more. 9 ounces. And this great big one. 3 pounds, 14 ounces. Just picked a few more carrots out of the garden, and I'm gonna weigh them up. I zeroed this bowl. These are actually my saved seed carrots. Still doing fairly well. Picking them as I need them, even in November. And I've got exactly 2 pounds because they're pretty wet. So we'll call it 2 pounds of carrots. And then we harvested the rest of the carrots in this one bed. We ended up with quite a few carrots, including all the carrots that I harvested throughout the year. And this final harvest, we ended up with 68 pounds of carrots for the entire season. These are the new potatoes that I was trying out. Can't remember the name of them. They started out really good. They looked really healthy, and they very, very quickly took over the entire bed that I had allotted to them, overtook the beets. And it wasn't a bad harvest either. They're actually very big. It's hard to tell. Then we harvested the rest of the red potatoes that I had planted in the other bed. After everything's weighed and put away, I grabbed a whole bunch of my garlic, separated it, counted out 100 cloves. We're gonna plant our garlic. It's November, it's a little bit late, but boy, this took up probably more than half of the garlic that I harvested this year, which is a lot. You need to grow a lot of garlic because you need to harvest half of it and put it back into the garden for next year. I'm trying to pick the biggest ones, so that I get bigger and bigger and bigger garlic. We'll see how it goes next year. Into the garden this goes. 100 cloves of garlic that I harvested this year. Despite the fact that much of our yard looked like this for a lot of the year, and there was an incessant amount of banging on my house to replace the siding, it was still a memorable, beautiful year. We were away a lot, but the yard did look gorgeous. Our flowers were out. The onion seed heads were beautiful. There were even some mushrooms growing on my dying fruit trees that were very, very beautiful. I even picked them and had some fun trying to identify mushrooms, which is my new kind of little side hobby that I've been doing. I don't know. It's just fun to try. There was a chicken in our yard, and there was this bear in our yard this year. What a year. So here is my poorly scribbled bit of paper that I record everything on. It gets really wet and yucky throughout the year, but that's what I have. I did add up at the beginning of the year some prices. You want to record the prices of the items when you harvest them, because obviously they're going to get more expensive in the wintertime. And then I kind of stopped doing that, so I only have some amounts for the amounts that we harvested. For instance, we did 18 pounds of turnips. At the time, they were selling for $2.49 a pound, which means that I grew $45 worth of turnips. And I did that for some things. Some things were really profitable, like the lettuce that we grew. Lettuce actually not cheap at the stores anymore. $100 worth of carrots, but that was like 58 pounds of carrots. $41 of red cabbage is more profitable than the green cabbage because it costs more to buy it. The patty pans, $43. And then I kind of stopped, and Mr. Wanders was doing tallies and weighing things for the rest of the year. Cantaloupes. I had prices on winter squashes. They were going for $1 a pound. They're really, really cheap. It's almost worth it to just kind of save and just buy them at the end of the year. And then I tallied up weights. This is 316 pounds on this page. And this was 113 pounds for a total of 429 pounds of produce. Now, for some reason, we didn't total up any of the tomatoes, like all the cherry tomatoes we did, but there were some other just regular tomatoes, and we don't have a weight on them at all. So this might be maybe 450 or 60 pounds, but I can't know because we didn't record it. I spent $464.29 on the garden this year. I can't find the receipt, but it's in the bank statements that's what I spent at ArtNap on things like soil amendments and then some plants that I had to replant. I don't think I got very many seeds, but I might have got a couple of seeds this year. And then I kept track of $429. I had to keep checking it because it was the same amount as this 429 pounds. But yeah, I kept track of $429 in prices for products I was harvesting at the time, and it didn't include things like peppers, potatoes, melons, apples, kohlrabi. Prices didn't include the prices for cucumbers, garlic, onions. I mean, basically all these prices. I mean, all these peas and blueberries and garlic and onions, all the peppers, cherry tomatoes, all that stuff. Lots of stuff I didn't get prices on, but I broke even, at least, just in the stuff that I did record at the beginning of the year. I came close to what I spent on the garden. Clearly, we harvested a lot more than that. And then, yeah, we didn't record any of the larger tomatoes. It was kind of a crazy year. We were away a lot, and that's what happened. So I managed to get this done. We grew about 450 pounds of produce in the garden, probably a lot more that didn't get recorded. Notably, some things didn't do well, like corn did not do well this year. It was a wet, soggy start to the year. It rotted a lot of seeds. I had to replant it, and then it didn't really have time to grow. I replanted the corn twice this year, and it didn't work. It didn't work out. But yeah, some things did pretty good. The cabbage did really well. Some things like the lettuce really enjoyed the cooler start to the spring. If you plant a good variety of things, usually some things will do well and other things will do worse depending on the weather. Over time, our harvests are just continuing to go down. I think in 2018, we brought in 1,200 pounds of produce, but our fruit trees are dying. And despite planting new ones, they're not really making up the difference. And just the harvests are lower. So that's what's happening. I think it's happening everywhere. Yeah, climate weirdness. Things are changing all the time. And it's a lot of replanting and it's a lot of heat damage. Yeah, but that was my year. Kind of haphazard, crazy year. I feel like we definitely grew enough to cover the cost of whatever we bought for the garden, including soil and soil amendments and stuff like that. So that's awesome. Plus we're growing good food that doesn't have a lot of crazy chemicals, and we know where we grew it, right in our garden. So it's always worth it to put in a garden for me, even if I feel like I'm not going to be paying so much attention to it. Like this year, I really wasn't doing as much work in the garden as I could have been doing, but we still grew a lot of stuff. Even just the carrots is worth it. 60 pounds of carrots is $100. So, and they just grow all year by themselves. It's perfect. I also didn't include the seeds. Like I grew beans, but I didn't harvest them. But we harvested them when they were dried as seeds for next year. So that's useful too. I harvested a lot of carrot seeds from carrots that I left in the ground. So I've got tons of seeds. I did a lot of that too. That's not in the weighing of things that makes it all worth it. So that is it for my How Much Food Can I Grow 2024 series. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. You can subscribe to see more videos from me, or check out the join button for other ways to support my channel. And I'll see you guys all next year for the 2025 How Much Food Can I Grow season. We'll see if I get seeds started this year. Maybe I will. Have you guys put your seed orders in yet? Yeah, I'll be doing that by the fire soon.